our topic is going to be on climate change. I'm also going to be teaching you how to compost. I hope you're ready to listen and absorb whatever I say. So you know that climate change is a reality today, and it is affecting each and every one of us, not only the human beings, but our plant life and all the animal world, animal life on this planet. So it's of great concern because all the living beings, the plants, the humans, and the animal life have to live in sync with each other. So it's important that we make certain changes in our lives to save ourselves and our planet. Change. Okay, so how does this climate change affect us? It affects us in every way. How do you do this? Go down here like this? Just click, okay. Every day we are seeing the effects of this climate change in our lives. As you know that we don't have any seasons anymore. There are temperatures are rising, the glaciers are melting, and our the sea level is rising every day, and a lot of land is going underwater. And the latest IPCC report has also told us that our city Kolkata is going to be underwater in the next 7 years, which is something to really worry. In the last few years, we have seen the animals totally going, so many species of animals going extinct, and you will be shocked to understand that the next animal or creature that is going to go extinct is the humans. Very soon, the scientists have said that the humans are going to go extinct. The way we have suffered 2 years of COVID and many such diseases and natural calamities are going to happen, where we are going to be totally swept off from this planet. So there's great worry for us. When we think in terms of climate change, no one talks about the waste. We talk about the petrol and the diesel and the coal, the pollution, all kinds of things we talk about. But no one talks about the waste that we are generating today, and which is of great concern, which is one of the biggest causes of climate change. You'll be shocked to know that in Kolkata, we generate 4,500 tons of waste every day. I mean, I can't even imagine how much waste that is. And all of which is dumped in our landfill. And the landfills are growing and growing and growing bigger. It's almost like a hill out in the city. And because it is so full that there is no more space to fill that landfill. And now the government is looking for more space. And in Kolkata, as we all know, that there is no more space to convert it into a landfill. The unscientific dumping is one of the biggest causes of air pollution. Do you know what kind of gases that these landfills generate? Methane and carbon dioxide, which are extremely harmful for us humans. And they are also the biggest cause of climate change, which is ruining our planet. And who is creating this waste? Not the animals, it's you and I. We are all creating waste. Our past generations, our great grandfathers and grandfathers did not consume or buy or waste so much as we are doing today. 20-25 years ago, we did not have any plastic. Plastic was invented around that time, or it came into India around that time. Until then, we were used to carrying our reusable bags to the market. We were carrying our own bottles, or we were drinking water from the tube wells on the road. And there were no mineral water bottles, there were no tissue papers, there were no plastic spoons and folks, and thermocol containers. So we all managed without these things. If they could manage, why can't we? We really have to ask ourselves that question. Yeah, 4,500 tons is a lot of waste for any city to manage. And we should not completely blame the government for not managing that kind of waste. We have to take some responsibility. All you, me, and everyone in the city, and every city, we must take responsibility of the waste we are generating. Either we do something about the waste we are generating, or we just stop generating waste. And your question will be, how do we stop generating waste? I mean, we are so used to doing the same things over and over again, bringing plastic bags home and throwing them away, and throwing just about anything and buying again and again and again. We can do that. Definitely, we can do that. I can vouch for that by changing our attitudes and mindset. We need to understand that this is not the right way of living. We must change how we think and how we act. Following the 5R principle helps. Refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, rot. Rot means compost, and refuse means refuse anything that is not suitable for the planet. Refuse excess food, refuse disposables. So many things you can just refuse to use. And reduce your consumption. Unnecessary consumption is what is causing the climate change so much. Do we need so many clothes in our cupboards? Do we need so much of everything? I mean, we are all, becoming just buy and throw. We are not living a circular economy. Circular economy means what comes from the earth goes back to the earth, but not the way that we are doing it right now. We must understand how to give back to earth from what we are taking. And recycle your clothes, recycle your containers, recycle your bags, recycle your bottles. So many things you can recycle, reuse and recycle. And rotting is, of course, composting, which I will come back to later. Refuse, reduce, and minimize use of disposables in the form of plastic, styrofoam, and paper. Use reusable instead. So every time we go to the market today, let's talk about the vegetable market in the morning that we all start our day with. Your parents, your grandparents must be going to the market empty-handed and coming back with lots of plastic bags with fresh fruits and vegetables. And what happens to those bags, plastic bags, after you put your vegetables and fruits in the fridge or wherever it is supposed to be kept? What happens to those? Have you ever thought about it? I'm sure you haven't thought much about it. Those all go into the dustbin. And every household at least disposes 4 to 5 such bags in the dustbin, in the dustbin. What happens? How much of bag, how much of waste gets created unnecessarily? Instead, if we carried a cloth bag from our homes, there would be no waste. Similarly, when we go and have puchka in the market, or we have a party at home, just because we do not want to clean the containers and the plates later on, we want to take a shortcut. What do? We use styrofoam and paper plates. The styrofoam is very, very bad for health. It's carcinogenic, as we know today. So is plastic, actually. And paper, of course, again, if we keep using paper more and more, then what happens is we have to make more paper by using our cutting our forests. Paper is made from wood, as you all know. So instead of that, let us use reusables. Reusables means let us use plates that can be used and washed and reused again and again. Reuse, share, swap, exchange are other ways to keep waste from the landfill. One man's waste can be another man's fortune. Now, how is that? The sharing your clothes with your siblings, your cousins, your friends, is a very good way. Swapping means exchanging clothes. What you have, you can share with your friends, exchange with your friends. You got bored of a certain dress or a t-shirt or a pant, give it to a friend who likes it. Similarly, you can take something from your friend and use it. So you get something new, your friend gets something new, and it does not go to the landfill. And of course, if you don't have siblings or cousins willing to take the clothes that you have, there are organizations who will take your old clothes and give it to someone else, or recycle it, or make some upcycle those clothes and make a useful product out of that. This is a very, very important point, responsible consumption. These days, every market, every company is trying to sell more and more, and cheap products are in the market so much that you want to buy a dress, wear it a few times, and throw it away. That does not help us or our planet at all. We must understand what are the things we need and what are the things we don't need. There is a very, very thin line between need and greed. Anytime you go out and buy things, you must understand whether you need it at all. Ask yourself 10 times, do I really need a new trouser, or what I have will go on for some more time? Do I need a new shirt? Do I need a new thing? This, that, and everything. Think before buying is the most important step we can take for this. Recycle only those things that can no longer be used. If you really think that your trousers have, really gone bad, only then you send it for recycling. Maybe if you have long trousers and it's got torn somewhere in between, cut it and make it into a short. That's absolutely very, very trendy today. And recycling is the only way to reduce the use of virgin resources, like paper. If we recycle all the paper that we have made so far, very few trees will need to be cut for making fresh paper. Let us recycle the paper again and again and again. So rot and compost all your organic waste, which is a great resource for our soil. I don't know if any of you know, out of all the waste that we generate in our homes, from that 60 to 70% of the waste comes from our kitchen in the form of peels or leftover food or rotten food, spoiled food, or something that you have taken in excess in your plate and you have thrown it. So that contains 60 to 70% of our household waste. And what do? We mix all our organic waste and our inorganic waste like paper, cardboard, metal, glass. So many of these inorganic waste we mix with the wet garbage that comes out of our kitchen. And then what happens when we all mix it together? When we mix it all together, then we cannot recover the resources. The resource recovery of all the waste that we generate can only happen if we segregate at source. What do you mean by segregate at source?
Separate between different kinds of waste.
Yes, separating the different.
Ma'am, you are muted.
Mute.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So have you all understood so far how much what we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just note down your points or any questions if you have, just jot it down and we'll take up the question answer session at the end. All right. Okay. we can only recover resources if we segregate at source. At home, when we are throwing things, we must have two buckets, one for dry waste and one more for wet waste. So the wet waste comes from the kitchen, as we know, which is 60 to 70% of our waste. And dry waste is, of course, paper, cardboard, any other things that we throw away. So if 60 to 70% of our waste at home comes from the kitchen and we throw it away, so much of resource we are wasting. And the rest of from the rest of the 25, 30 or 30, 35% waste that we are generating is coming from the dry waste, which are paper, pen, cardboard, which can also be recycled. So if we send our recyclable waste to the recyclers, and if we compost our kitchen waste, or then what is left? About 5 to 10% of the waste that we are throwing in the landfill today is left to send to the landfill now. So 80 to 90% waste we have taken care of. That is what we all need to do. We will not have a problem of a landfill, of finding a new landfill, if we are doing each and every person, each and every citizen today. If we do this, then our problem of waste will just go away without any effort. The government is spending crores of rupees every year to manage the waste that we are generating. But if we do it ourselves at home, I think we will save a lot of money. We will not even save the money, we will also save our health, because our landfills are a great source of health problems in our lives today. The asthma, the breathing problems, it's all coming because of the pollution that is coming out from our landfill. You all, in your science, you all must have learned about the greenhouse gases. Which are the greenhouse gases? Can someone tell me?
Carbon dioxide,
Carbon dioxide,
carbon monoxide, etc.
Yeah, methane. Methane is one of the worst greenhouse gases that is generated by the wet waste that comes out from our kitchen. So if at home we can use that waste and make compost out of it, then we will not have any problems of methane coming out of our landfill. We will not have any problem about carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide coming out of a landfill. So that it's very important that we understand why we need to compost our kitchen waste and not just throw it away. How many of you have gardens at home or in your balconies? Plants are in the balconies. How many of you have? Do any of you have gardens and plants? You'll have to speak up because I can't see you all.
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
My grandmother.
Yes, ma'am.
So who looks after the plants or your garden? Who looks after it?
Ma'am, my grandmother, me and my brother.
You and your brother. Very nice. And the others, who looks after your gardens? Girls and boys?
Ma'am, my grandmother and me.
So someone's must be having a mali if you have a big garden, or someone must be having your housemaid or house help to do it, or your parents must be doing it. So all of you now start working in your garden and see the beauty of nature. Work in the garden, you will retouch the soil, touch the soil and see how it feels like. There is life in soil. So it's great fun growing your own garden, growing your own vegetables.
And also my grandmother gives all the pieces of the kitchen and all those are left. My grandmother gives in the soil. She is very fond of gardening.
Oh, very nice. It's not moving by.
Yes, ma'am. My grandmother is also very fond of gardening.
Yes, now you must learn from your grandmothers.
Like past 1 year during the pandemic, we did not have anything to do. So I and my mother decided to grow some plants in our
very, 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 very nice. Now you can see this picture of the small roof garden and things. Can you see things happening here?
Yes.
You can see vegetables growing.
Yes, ma'am.
It's very, very easy to grow vegetables and fruits on your terrace in these pots. You will not have so many fruits as you have in a tree planted in the soil, but you will definitely get some, enough for you to be happy about, having your own grown food. So you can see there's a banana tree here, and you can see jhinge, you can see ridge gourd, and you can see, what else can you see? Brinjal. Can you see the brinjal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can grow lots of fruits and vegetables in your garden. It's very, very simple, and it's good fun. As I told you, segregation at source is the best way to recover the value of all the resources from our waste. So if what happens, if our paper gets soiled with the kitchen waste, the kitchen waste also goes, and so does the paper. We need to recycle paper. Paper is an organic waste. It can be composted also, but it's better to recycle the paper rather than putting it into compost. Okay, now let me tell you that I lead a zero waste life, and can anyone tell me? Okay, you can see the screen. These are the things that help me lead a zero waste life. Like in my bag, every day I carry a water bottle, which is a steel water bottle, which every time I go back home, I refill it for the next day. So I always carry a water bottle, a reusable water bottle. It can be copper, it can be steel. If you're comfortable carrying a glass bottle, it could be a glass bottle or an earthenware bottle, but something that you can reuse again and again. I have not used a mineral water bottle for the last 6 years. How many of you drink from mineral water bottles? Do you use mineral water bottles?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, I use plastic water bottles.
Sorry?
Yes, ma'am, I do use plastic water bottles.
So everywhere you go, you carry a plastic water bottle?
Yes, ma'am, usually.
Very good. All of you must carry a water bottle. So when you go to parties, you all go to parties, I'm sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So when you're eating in a plate, what kind of plate do you eat in?
Ma'am, paper plate.
Ma'am, glass plate.
Yes, ma'am. Paper plate or a glass plate.
Paper plate or a glass plate. Paper plate can be used again?
No, ma'am.
Paper plate cannot be used again. So a paper plate that you use, how long do you use it for?
Ma'am, 1 hour.
Ma'am,
For
one
one.
time only.
15 minutes to 20 minutes to half an hour to 1 hour. That's all, right? And in a
Yes,
party, if you are using paper plates, serving in paper plates, how many paper plates are getting thrown away?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
approximately
many paper plates.
1,000.
Depending on the size of the party, that many number of plates will get
Yes, ma'am.
will be used, right? And thrown away where? Where will it get thrown away?
Ma'am, in the landfill.
Yes, ma'am.
On the
You
land.
throw it in the dustbin, and from the dustbin, have you ever thought, when you throw away the garbage from your dustbin, where does it go? Have you ever thought of that?
On the landfills.
Yes, it goes to the landfill. Have you just thought of that, or have you ever thought before that it goes to the landfill?
Ma'am, not often, but sometimes.
Sometimes you think about it, all right. So it goes to the landfill, and if everyone has such parties of paper, using paper plates and plastic straws and plastic spoons and things. So if each one of us throws that kind of garbage into the landfill, what will happen?
Ma'am,
Will
slowly the landfill will get accumulated with the garbage.
That will get accumulated, and actually we are all drowning in the garbage that we are creating. Actually we are drowning, so we need to reduce. Do you think we need to reduce the waste?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So at home, okay, let's talk about our individual responsibilities. All right, we will not talk about the government or anyone. Each of us, if we decide that, okay, we will not have a party where we will generate any waste. Okay, so what kind of products will you use?
Ma'am, we will use reusable products.
Ma'am, we can use
steel
glass.
products.
Some
Okay,
glass
say
plates.
instead of paper plate, what would you use?
Some glass
And we can use
plates.
steel or
steel.
metal plates.
Yes,
Ma'am, metal.
steel
Glass plates or
yes, or ceramic plates. We could use those and wash them again, reuse them again and again, right? And melamine plates as
Yes,
well.
ma'am.
Melamine plates are also reusable if you're scared of breaking your glass plates. But steel plate is a very, very good option. It is very, very sustainable. So we have to think in terms of sustainability now in our lives. So instead of paper plates or styrofoam plates, we should be using steel, glass, or
In my
melamine.
home, everybody eats in copper plates.
Oh, everybody eats in copper plates. That's also very sustainable. It can be reused again and again, no problem, right? And when you go to a party, along with the plates, they give you a napkin, right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
And tissues.
Yeah, a tissue paper or a napkin, paper napkin. So again, in a party, you will not use one paper napkin. You will use many, many paper napkins, right? When they're serving you snacks, every time you pick up a snack, they will give you a paper napkin. So each one of us will again use 8 to 10 paper napkins in a party. And if there is a party of 500 people, so we'll be using about 4,000 paper napkins if everyone is using that number. So 4,000 napkins. And how long do you use those napkins?
Ma'am, 1
Ma'am,
minute.
1 minute, right?
Just
In
for a
1
while.
minute,
just one time.
just for a while, just one time. Every time we use it, we will just throw it away. Right? So in any party, and we
Yes,
have
ma'am.
so many parties every day, all over Calcutta, all over the city, all over the state, all over the country. So everywhere we are generating this waste. So if we don't want to generate this waste, what would we be using?
Usable products.
And just repeat what did you say?
If I was saying that if we don't want to use a disposable paper napkin, what
Ma'am, we
would
can use
we
towels.
a towel or a cloth napkin? A cloth napkin can
Ma'am,
be
yes.
used and reused again. We can wash.
We can use our own personal handkerchief.
Absolutely, we can use our personal handkerchief. That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
ma'am. After that, when we come to our homes, we can wash it again and we can use it.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So when I lead a zero waste life, so what are the things I carry? I always carry my water bottle. I always carry this pouch. And what does this pouch have? It has a napkin, a cloth napkin. It has a fork, and it has a steel spoon, right? This is a steel spoon and a steel fork. So how does this help me lead a zero waste life? Can anyone
Ma'am,
tell
so
me?
that you will not be
Yes, ma'am. We
dependent
are not
on a
using the
reuse.
plastic straws or the plastic spoons that gives in the
Absolutely.
outside.
I don't need to use any plastic cutlery. If in a party they are trying to serve me in a plastic cutlery, then I will refuse that and use my own cutlery, steel cutlery. If they are giving me steel cutlery, then I will use it. But if they are giving me a plastic cutlery, then I will refuse that and use my
Refuse that.
cutlery. Okay. So this is something here. And
so Latadi, we have about 20 minutes left.
all right.
So just a quick time check.
All right. Okay. No problem. Okay. Although when I drink dab or coconut water, I normally don't use a straw, plastic or otherwise, because I just drink straight. When we didn't have straws, we all drank straight from the coconut, right? Straight from there. So, but many people find it difficult to drink. They are not used to it anymore. So they carry. So for that, we also have an alternate to that. Instead of a plastic straw, you carry your own straw. And this is a copper
Yes,
straw.
a steel straw we can carry.
You can carry a steel straw as well. And with these straws these days, you get this cleaner, a brush, a cleaner, which you can easily put inside here and clean it. So you cannot say that this is not hygienic. It cannot be cleaned. There are brushes to help you clean that. And if you're fond of eating outside on the roadside, instead of taking styrofoam containers from the puchka wala, you can carry your own container and eat puchkas from this, right? So these things, when I carry in my bag always, I'm able to live a zero waste life. I don't create any waste, right? So if I have a party at home, I will use a paper, cloth napkin, and a reusable plate. So I will not generate any waste. So these are called zero waste parties, and these 5R principles help me lead a zero waste life. How many
Yes,
of you, how many of you are willing to try this zero waste life?
Ma'am, me.
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 Very good, very good. So all of you, I would suggest that all of you do start practicing zero waste life yourselves, and by our example, you start teaching others. So there are a lot of, disposable products in the market for menstrual hygiene. You have reusable cloth napkins. For pens, start using fountain pens again, so that every time you don't use and throw the pens. Then for pencils, we have alternate pencils made by paper. We have cloth napkins. We have cloth diapers for babies. And these are again cloth diapers. Okay, so we have a lot of products today which can help us lead a zero waste life. Yeah, we also have a habit of gifting things to people. So instead of gifting just about anything, let's buy responsible gifts, upcycled or recycled products, eco-friendly products, and wrap them in reusable cloth or newspaper. Again, these are, we have bamboo toothbrushes, bamboo combs, bamboo brushes, a lot of products which can be used again and again instead of using disposables. You have an eco-friendly party. There are lots of now in the market, there are available products which you can use and reuse again. So let us all save the earth. It's ours. Thank you very much. Now, before we go on to the question answer session, are you willing to learn about composting, how to compost your kitchen waste?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right. Okay. So now for composting is a very easy way to recycle your kitchen waste at home. Okay. You need a bucket with a lid. All right. It must have a lid and it must have holes. Can you see the holes in the cover?
No, ma'am.
No, there are holes here. All right. There are
No,
holes.
ma'am.
There are holes all around the bucket. So we need a bucket like this. The size will depend on the number of people in the household. We will talk about it in the question answer session. So you need three things for composting: carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and oxygen. So the carbon dioxide comes from, not the carbon comes from dry leaves. The carbon comes from dry leaves, paper, cardboard, sawdust, cocoa peat. These are all sources of carbon. All right. And what is the source of nitrogen? Can you tell me? The source of nitrogen are the kitchen peels. Okay. Can you see the peels, all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Come out from your kitchen are the source of nitrogen. And what is the source of oxygen?
Plants.
Air.
Ma'am, plants.
Ma'am, air.
Air. Yes. Plants, everyone may not have, but everyone is breathing, no? From the oxygen from the air, we are all breathing. So that comes from the environment. Okay. So we take a container like this. The first layer in this container will contain carbon. It could be any of the things I mentioned. What are the things I mentioned? What contains carbon?
Dry leaves, wheat.
Ma'am, dry leaves.
Cardboard,
Dry
cocoa
leaves,
peat.
sawdust, cocoa peat. Yes, absolutely. And when we cover the bottom with carbon, the next layer will be nitrogen. Nitrogen means all these kitchen peels.
Ma'am, the chicken.
Yeah, and don't be scared of touching the peels. Huh? All coming from your kitchen. The food that we ate, the peels of those are coming from the kitchen, and they contain nitrogen. Okay. All right. Again, whenever we put our kitchen waste here, we must cover the lid. We must cover the lid. No, sorry. We must cover it with carbon. I'm sorry. We must cover it with carbon, a layer of carbon, a thick layer of carbon, and we must cover the lid and put it away under a shade. We should not put it in the sun. Okay. Keeping it in the sun will dry the whole thing out. We don't want that. So making compost, we need moisture. So the moisture comes from the kitchen peels and the carbon absorbs the water which is generated from the kitchen peels. Again, we put our fresh layer of kitchen peels on the day. Again, we cover it with some more carbon. Okay. Once again, third day, we again take our kitchen peels and we put it in